Buy all you want with 0% interest for 15 months. Spend $500 in the next 90 days and get a $200 cashback reward. You know, these are promises made by credit card companies to get you to come to them. But we all know credit cards are evil, right? Well, they are easy to lose control of, and our spending can get out of hand very quickly. I want to tell you how you can gain control of credit cards and how I use them to work for me. Welcome to Develop Daily. And in this video, we will discuss why credit cards are not so evil after all. Now, I'm not a financial advisor or an expert. I'm just somebody who has made a lot of mistakes with credit cards and who wants to share what has worked for me after all these years of failing. You know, Mark Cuban once said, if you use credit cards, you don't want to be rich. He said this referring to how most people rack up a balance larger than they can pay and they get charged interest month after month. And with that sentiment, I completely agree with Mark. And a lot of people do bury themselves in credit card debt. Average Americans carry a balance of $6,270 of credit card debt. Bottom line is, if you can't pay off your credit card each month, you shouldn't use them. I know it's much easier said than done, and I say this from a place of complete understanding and true empathy, as I have placed myself in that position more times than I can count. You know, I would rack up a normal balance and then I'd pay it off each month, just like a good, responsible young man. And then all of a sudden I would need new tires. So I'd put it on the card. Well, I didn't have my normal expenses plus new tire money at the end of the month. And so I'd pay off most of the balance, but not all of it. And then a new bill would come in and I would have even less money to put towards that balance each month. Well, at least I still have that 15 months with no interest before I have to worry about it. Surely I would have enough money by then. Well, I didn't. You know the story. And so then interest started hitting me and the downward spiral began until it was just a living nightmare. To get out of this hole, the first thing I did, well, after crying into my pillow, was to create a very strict budget using YNAB, leaving as much as I possibly could to pay towards the mountain of debt that I had. Naturally, I stopped using my card or cards in this example and actually placed them in my lockbox to avoid any future temptation. And then I calculated how long it would take me to pay off each one with just some of this extra money I was able to pull aside. Now, I'm not sponsored by YNAB, but as a budgeting tool, it has been my favorite one to date. Subscribe to this channel, and you can see in the future a video on how I use YNAB. But with that in mind, the next thing I did was I called the credit card companies after I built out my budget, and I asked them if there's any way they could reduce the interest rate down to an introductory rate of 0%. For even just 6 months or longer. A lot of them said yes, surprisingly. And of course, some said no. And for those that didn't want to help me, I looked at switching to a new card with 0% interest, and then I weighed the difference in paying the transfer fees versus paying the interest for that time frame that it would take me to pay it off. And I just decided what made most sense based on that. Most importantly, I forced myself to stick to the plan until all the cards were paid off. Sure, there were some hiccups along the way. Life happens. But for the most part, all went well, and making that last payment was a major victory. Overall, I am a big fan of credit cards. Rather, the rewards that credit cards offer. And once you can get a handle on using them, but you have to get a handle on using them first, because just 1 month of interest payments really kills any rewards that you have built up. So I want to share with you 2 strategies that I like to use so that you can take advantage of the reward cards. My first strategy: if I were to take advantage of the promotion that I started the video off with, which is a real credit card promotion, by the way, of spending $500 in the first 3 months and getting a $200 cashback reward, well, here's how I would do it now. First, I would look at my budget and I would find the fixed bills that get me there. In this case, my cell phone and my internet bill would give me $250 a month. Now I say this, you want to use fixed bills because these bills have the same balance every single month. My cell phone bill and my internet bill do not change from month to month. These are fixed and I'm already used to paying them. So if I just set these up onto an auto pay with my credit or with my cell phone company, and then I just pay my credit card bill just as if I was paying my cell phone at the end of each month. Now, you don't want to use a variable bill like the electric or gas or groceries or recreation in this sample here because they change every single month and they are very tough to have a good budget for. And using these is where you get into trouble with not being able to pay them off at the end of the month. So the next thing I did, just like I said, I would set up that auto pay and I would put that credit card in my lockbox. Yes, I would not use it for anything else. From there, I will get my $200 reward plus 2% cash back each month. If you remember from the examples, that was another part of the offer. And so using that example, I will make $5 each month doing what I'm already doing. I am already paying for my cell phone and my internet. So now I'm just getting an extra $5 for doing it and $200 reward overall. Now, of course, it's not enough to retire on, but at the end of the year, $255 is more than I had at the beginning of the year, and no interest or a balance on my card at the end of the year is amazing. That is how you can make it work for you. And as time goes on, you can add other bills to this card and you can click those rewards as well. You just want to be sure that those bills don't charge processing fees to use your card. Some companies will charge you a 3% fee or sometimes it's a fixed fee in order to use the card to pay your bills with them on auto pay. Just make sure they don't do that because that could easily be worth or cost you more than the reward is worth. My other strategy is one that I like to use for big purchases, things that I've already saved up for. So for example, we fly Southwest Airlines to one of our favorite vacation spots, and it's never fun or cheap to pay for airfare. So recently I saw a great promotion that Southwest had, a real promotion for this example. They had where if I spent $3,000 in the first 3 months, it would give me enough points off of those bonuses to basically make our flights for the next time we go on vacation free. So we had already saved up to get the kids a trampoline and a couple other big purchases like outdoor furniture and just some other things around the house that we wanted to buy for the summer. So I put them on my new Southwest card and I paid it off using the money that we had already saved. And so now I got those reward points. I'm not budgeting for anything different. Everything's covered. And when I go on vacation, I'll actually use this card again. And it should give me pretty close to enough points for my next time going, that having that airfare free as well. And you guessed it, that's based on the amount of vacation money that we had already saved. Both strategies that I just described avoid debt by leveraging the money that you already have allocated within your budget. When we use credit cards with just the intent of paying them off at the end of each month, that is where the trouble begins. Because if we already don't have that money in our account, what's to say nothing's going to come up along the way? As we all know, life happens and things will come up each month. That's just the way it is. We all know this. So only use the money that you had already saved before you charge. When we use credit cards that way, we can take control of the credit card. And so that way they do not take control of us.